So we don't even have a countdown, okay? The countdown didn't work.
No countdown.
We're live. Listen, when this comes back to other people, they're going to see a countdown and they're going to be like, she was so organized. So, the joys of editing. Anyways, welcome everyone back. So let me set the stage a little bit because my channel's grown a little bit, your channel's grown a little bit. So let's kind of talk about what this is. So at the end, so at the beginning of the season last year, we would come together and we would talk about your experience going to Colorado, seeing what the game was like, and then you'd come back and kind of tell us your experience, what it was like, how it was for you, and all of that. So this year we decided you're kind of going everywhere. So we're going to come back every couple of weeks and talk about all of your travel. Yes, we'll still talk a little bit about Colorado, which is fine. But like there's so much more happening in the college football landscape. So like, why not talk about it? And you're seeing some like monumental places that a lot of people will never get to see. So that is what we're here to do. We're going to talk about football experiences and travel and get it straight from your mouth because you have videos. I will tag them in the description, all the things. So if you just want to introduce yourself and just let us know what you want us to know about like your new experience for this year, what your plans are for this year, what it's looking like for you, just anything you want us to know before I start asking you my questions that I have about your experiences.
Well, of course, of course. First of all, I'm grateful to be back on the show with you. I'm excited. I love our conversations, especially after, big games and we have so
Yeah.
much to catch up on. But yeah, my name is Connect and well, my name is Chris, but I go by Connect, YouTube blogger, photographer, and I love college football. I play college football at Savannah State, quarterback there for yeah, we were okay. But but yeah, I love college football, very passionate about football in general, all sports, honestly. And
Yeah.
I love to document my journeys, my travel, and all experience new places. And like as you mentioned, some people may or may not be able to go to those places. So my
Mm-hmm.
job is to, put that experience into one big video, depending on where I'm going. So that's what
And
I do.
it's great. Yeah. And to level set for everyone, so far this year, week one, you were at Colorado, Georgia Tech, and then you made it to Florida State, Alabama, which is amazing for you because I know Florida State is your team inside of your heart, in your soul. I understand. And then this past weekend, you were able to go to Ohio State and Grambling State.
Yeah,
Is it Grambling State?
I think it is. I think it's
Oh,
great.
okay.
Yeah.
Grambling State. It's called Grambling, okay? That's what it's called, okay? So tell us about that. Like, what experience would you say was something you weren't prepared for? Where like either the moment was something you didn't prepare for, the game was something you didn't prepare for. Like, what experience for you was the one where you are looking back now and you're like, oh my gosh, that was actually pretty amazing.
I usually try my best to be prepared for everything, but one game that really like that, I'm not gonna say it did shock me. It shocked me. FSU versus Alabama.
Yeah.
If anything, I expected us to have a close win, but to like really stomp down and
Yeah.
dominate the Alabama Crimson Tide. I was just like, I was in awe, but it brought back memories of when we were a dominant program, and I'm
Fair.
so excited to see the program back on the up, especially after what happened last season, only 2 wins, and the season before that, getting cheated out of the college football playoffs. But we won't go there. But on the upside, there were many FSU legends who were there. Guys like Peter Ward, Dalvin Cook, Antonio Cromartie. For those who know, it
Mm.
was just amazing.
Isn't his son playing on the team
He
this year?
is. He is.
Okay.
He's playing,
Okay.
and yeah, he's one proud dad. And he made a post on Twitter yesterday talking about it. But yeah, just that game there alone. They did renovations to the stadium, and honestly, I thought, hey, what are they doing? They don't know what they're doing. They just,
You said that in
yeah,
one of our
yeah,
episodes. You were like, "Oh gosh, these
yeah.
stupid renovations."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Honestly, it looks really nice. The sound, it was still loud, maybe because I was on the student section side, maybe, but it was still
yeah.
loud as a whole. I think everybody was excited for the game, and honestly, I couldn't tell the difference between the Alabama fans and the FSU fans because the crimson blended in with the garnet, and that was something I was
Um,
like, okay, now this. But when I went closer to the Alabama side, you could hear like they were booing and whatever. Yeah, but
okay,
very exciting.
that's all. In that video, I heard you say, "Oh my gosh, it's so loud."
Yeah.
And I thought, and I think that sometimes when you're sitting at home, we forget how actual loud it is. And so, because the other thing is too, is you're watching the game. There are guys that have to be able to snap the ball and know the play and all those different things. And you're on the sidelines and you're like, it is so loud.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you feel like, what, compare the, like, okay, you were at Colorado's Hail Mary, which was crazy last year. And then you were at Florida State dominating Alabama. Shock.
Yeah.
Compare the level of shockness for you. Like, as you're watching it, were you kind of thinking, okay, Alabama's going to figure this out and we're not going to do this? Or were you always like, we got this? Like, we're going to do this?
So my mindset was like, don't take your foot off the gas. Don't take your foot off the gas, because if you let up, Alabama is known to, play you all 4 quarters. But I guess we just like snatched their pride and took the momentum and just ran with it. But the moment at Colorado, the Hail Mary pass, that was very shocking too. But it was, Colorado wasn't really up the entire game. So it was like, man, are they going to lose? Are they going to lose? But then the cinematic play and then the Hail Mary, then Travis Hunter's helmet to ball fumble play. That was, it was a cinematic ending. So.
Okay. Yeah. What was the difference? Okay. Because then you go to Ohio State. And for those people that are most people know who Ohio State and Florida State is. So I don't want to act like nobody knows who they are. But a lot of people don't realize the difference in programs amongst the country in college football. I'll just say that and I'll leave that for what it is. How loud was it at Ohio State just at kickoff? Because obviously the game, it wasn't about the game per se. I would say it was just kind of an experience.
Right.
But like, what was kickoff like compared to like Florida State to Ohio State? Because that was also week 1 compared to like an Ohio State week 2 after they beat Texas, and whatever. We'll just leave that where it's at. But how was that? How was the energy in the stadium?
So Florida State, hands down, was loud the entire time. The last time I've heard a game loud the entire time was FSU versus LSU at the Superdome. That was just like loud the entire time. But Ohio State, it was pretty loud in the first quarter, the first 3 drives. The crowd was like really into it. But I will say this: there's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference. So yeah.
Okay. Speaking of differences, I noticed something in the videos, and again, this is me being me, right? And I'm looking at all the other things that probably no one's paying attention to, but those are the things I'm paying attention to. The look of athlete is just different. So you do a really good job documenting not just the game, but like the pregame, right? When they're just out there with no uniform, street clothes, where everybody should look pretty much the same because they're all athletes. Even that, I noticed a difference, and I'm not going to say anything about anybody's team and who I noticed a difference from. But when that Ohio State team ran out of that tunnel, I just was thinking, that doesn't look like these other teams. And what I mean by that is, right, you put your best up front and they kind of run out, right? And then it kind of tails off. And I still was like, is this the tell-off? Where are the others? Like, so did you notice that? Because you were actually on the field and you could feel them as dramatic, but you could kind of feel the energy.
Yeah.
What was it different for you being that close and on the field and seeing the difference?
One thing that I noticed about the Ohio State Buckeyes, something that I've never noticed before with any other team, these guys are professionals. These guys take it serious. Coach Ryan Day has this program down to a T. These guys aren't coming out whenever they want to and warming up. No, you have specific groups. You do specific warm-up drills. And once you're done, you come together, you break down, and you go back into the locker room. It's okay, I'm out here by myself. No. When the guys came into the stadium, they had the 50 Cent song, Mini Men playing. I was just like, oh, my gosh, are you serious? I was just like, it was surreal. It was very surreal. And if you see in the video, I had to chop it up because, the music. But
yeah,
the guys were serious the whole time. Game face, locked and ready to go. I'm like, this is a number. I see why they're number one. This is the standard. It was really the standard. And I really appreciate how far and above and beyond they go, because they take football serious. And I really love that. I really love
Yeah.
that.
And that's what I love. And I message you this, like that's what I love about you going to different places, is because I think that there's so much more than to college football than a lot of people know, because they're so focused on their team and what their team is doing. And I'll say this too, like I'm so hypercritical and everyone's like, you're so critical. And I'm like, because there is a better way. Like there is a better way.
Yeah.
Like, and there are
Yes.
teams that do it better. And so it's so fascinating. And like I said, it's a different tier of athlete. I don't care what you say. I don't care how you try to slice it. They look different. They walk different. They talk different. Everything is different. It's just different. So
Yeah.
when I was watching the video, and I'll be honest, I'll give Alabama some credit. Even looking at that video, I was looking at Alabama and I was like, they got some guys. Like now they didn't know what they were doing, but they got some guys.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a difference in athletes, people. Like we need to like there's a difference. So
Yes.
the other thing I was going to ask you is, how was it? So last year you did all Colorado every weekend. You were in, you were out, you had a rhythm, you had a system, you had a hotel, you had all of these things. How is it now adjusting to not having those things, where you're almost figuring out like a new routine every week, new flights every week, like which plane, like what's the best flight and all that? Like, how has it logistically been for you while you've been planning and going to the different places?
Yeah. So it's definitely been a difference. Honestly, it's less pressure on me. Um, Being that I made the move to Chicago, a lot of people don't know that I would drive from Tallahassee to Atlanta, hop on the flight from Atlanta to Denver, go drive to Boulder, go to the games, and sometimes that same night I would drive back to the airport
Yeah.
and then fly back to Atlanta, and it was a lot of traveling. But now that I'm, in a centralized location, very easy air access, and I pretty much made my own schedule. The best thing for me is just like doing it beforehand,
Okay.
figuring out, okay, what games are going to be pretty big games this season, and where haven't I been, what could I show that's different, a program that's within the top 10, so,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
some places that I've always dreamed about going to and experiencing. So
Yeah, I don't know how you keep your cool. Like I always say, if I ever got that close, like there's been a couple of times where I've gotten really close to certain things, and I knew in my mind, I was like, don't, nope, nope, like you stay focused, like you
yeah,
stay
yeah.
locked in. But I can't even imagine. So I'm gonna ask you this. Don't tell me the specific airport. Is there a certain airport that's better for you, or do you utilize both airports?
Both, both,
Okay.
both.
Okay, fair. I just was curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then what is something, how do you mentioned how you decided you were going to go to some of the upcoming things that you have. What are some of your deciding factors? Are you looking at, do you want to see certain guys play? Do you want to see certain programs play? Or do you want to see certain matchups? Like how are you assessing, you know what? I think this is where I'm going to go this weekend.
Yeah. One thing that really determines where I go is I guess the players
Mm,
for sure. I really wanted to see Arch Manning play this season, so hopefully we'll see if I get to one of those games. And I wanted to see JJ Smith play, and I got to see him this
Jeremiah.
past weekend. Jeremiah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And I also wanted to see Ryan Williams, Alabama, and I ended up being able to see him versus FSU. And those really are the biggest names that I've wanted to see so far. But
Okay.
now I realize, like, okay, let's check out these programs to see like what's really the difference, between these programs, their systems, their coaches, how they, how they act during pregame, what are their traditions, and as I mentioned before, just places that I've always wanted to visit, places that I haven't been to, states that I haven't visited as well. But don't get me wrong, I do miss, traveling to see Travis Hunter and Shador play, and
Yeah.
that was just a moment in history. So.
I was going to ask you, when you were in Colorado and Coach Prime like did his walk and did all the things, was it weird for you? Because even pregame, it was like Shador had a ritual, Travis Hunter would like, there's just certain things that became like normal. How was that for you when you were like, oh, hey, hi?
Yeah. It was very different. Don't get me wrong, it was a packed out house,
Yeah.
but it was an uncertainty of like, okay, are they going to do well today? Are they going to like really like stink up the place? But they played okay, but
Yeah.
they didn't get the W. But it's a lot of people expected them to still be on that same flow, same vibe, and
Yeah.
I was just like, no,
Yeah.
sad, no. It's just
So
a different conference. Yeah.
let's talk about the fans a little bit. How are they? How do they interact with you? How do you interact with them? Do you I don't think I saw on your videos where you go to tailgates. I don't think you do that because you're usually in there early.
Yeah.
But how are they like how are all the other things? Like how are people kind to you? Do they want to be in the videos? Are they like who are you? Like how are the different fans in the different situations?
Yeah, I would say Colorado fans are the nicest, the most easiest to get along with. Friendly. A lot of people come up to me before the game, like, "Hey, connect. I know you. I've seen you on your videos." And when I was on the field, a little boy actually came up to me. He's like, "Hey, don't you make videos? I remember you. You used to wear
Oh,
glasses. I didn't have my glasses on." And he's like, "You wear glasses, right?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And I was like, "Okay, I'll put you in the video. Come on, man, let's go." So
oh,
in that first video, I was able to do that, and I love the interactions with people, because that's who I do it for, to
hmm
give the experience and uh, to track these memories and like keep, it's yeah, you have photos, but having a video and experience, it can really put you back into, that moment in time. So that's what I'm grateful for the most. FSU fans are really really cool. There's one stadium that I did not like. Oh my gosh. No, that was NFL. That was NFL. But
that's a
yeah,
totally different ball
yeah,
game.
totally
That's
different. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I tell you
yeah.
know me. I tell people
Charlotte.
all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like, you
Charlotte.
guys, yeah, you all think you know, you have no idea.
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
it's totally different.
yeah,
I always say the NFL doesn't care about the fans. They don't care. They don't care.
yeah. They hire anybody off
um,
the streets, man. It's
okay, so I have a good question for you. Which band did when they scored a touchdown or when something happened? We already know who the best band was at halftime. I'm not even going to ask you. Okay, it is Grambling, and I'm not calling them Grambling State. Okay, I'm calling them Grambling. We already know who
Grambling.
the best band was at halftime. But who was the best band? Like when things happened in the middle of the game, or when things just happened and that fight song came on, or whatever happened. Like who was the best band that you were kind of like, this band is so loud?
I would have to say, well, I also have something to mention about that too. But the best band I would have to say during the game would be FSU. Always
Okay,
playing the war chant like right on time, right on
fair.
time. Defense makes a stop, and that helps build momentum for your team.
Yeah,
They may think it's just music. No, this is like energy. You're getting the fans into it, and then once the fans get into it, the players actually get into it because it transfers and it translates.
yeah.
Um, but as far as like being the professionalism, I would say Ohio State they're very professional. It's like they're marching in, and that was really cool. That was really cool to like see them all in sync. But
Yeah. Okay. You said you had a story.
oh yes. So I have a thing with bands using speakers at the games.
To make it louder.
Oh my gosh, I don't like that, man. It's like, come on, dude. And then I have to walk by the speakers. It's like blasting, and it's like ah.
Yeah.
But Ohio State had speakers for
Yeah.
that team,
Yeah.
and
Oh, don't say that too loud. Some of their
yep.
fans are be like, oh, okay.
But I want to say Texas Tech did too. Arizona did too. So yeah,
Yeah. Fake crowds.
yeah,
Forget
yeah.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Was there any player? So you mentioned you wanted to see Jeremiah Smith. You mentioned you wanted to see Ryan Williams. When you saw them, what were your thoughts on them? Like, were you thinking, okay, these guys are bigger than I thought? Were they taller? Their hand, like when you actually physically saw them beyond the TV and behind all the things, you saw them live, playing live. Did your opinion of them change, or did you have different thoughts once you actually saw them out there on the field?
Yeah, so for Jeremiah Smith, I actually met him like when he won his last state championship in Florida. Um,
Okay.
so I met him, and he was much skinnier, lanky, but of course, coming into the Ohio State program, they've bulked him up, and he looks like a pro receiver. Man, he's
Yeah.
so explosive. It's crazy. And
Can't figure it out against Texas. Hope I don't eat those words.
oh,
We have them too. We're like, hopefully we play them again this year. Like, hopefully. And then we'll play them again next year. So I'm like,
yeah.
somebody will clip that small clip of everything I've ever said and be like, remember that one day you said this one thing? Listen, everybody knows how I feel about Jeremiah Smith. Like, he's phenomenal. So I can talk trash if I want to. Leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah, and I have to mention my guy Deuce Robinson, receiver from Florida State. He's like
Okay.
6'6", man. I'm so glad he left USC and came to us, and he's a monster. He's a monster, and he's
Ooh, sorry, I just realized too. Okay. Because the Florida State quarterback was the one that was like talking all that trash in the offseason and
yeah.
all the stuff. Like, were there any like skirmishes or like any things that were happening within the game, like with him? Because he talked trash all summer, backed it up 100%. His teammates had his back. Did anybody do anything? Did anybody like man up and say something to him or
They
anything
didn't.
like that?
They didn't.
Okay.
They didn't. I feel like they were shocked
Mm,
when he made the first deep ball pass. It was like maybe 60, 70 yards to squirrel right. And they were like, oh my gosh, this guy can really play now. And they're like, oh gosh, now we're chasing this guy around. And they're out of breath. They're without their number one defensive tackle and they're without their running back. And it's just like, okay, these guys, they really weren't too confident in their play and their ability. And Tommy, he was ready. He was
yeah.
ready. He seized the
And
moments.
and who is that Alabama team? I need Alabama team to go in and look at the quarterback and be like, it's going to be a long day for you, bro. It's going to be a long day. Even if it's not, talk trash. What are we doing? Come on, kids. Stop being, there's a bunch of softies playing right now in college football.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Okay, so, and for everybody that's listening, all of your videos will be tagged in the description section. I will also tag, obviously, your channels. You know how this works, but I just want to make sure everybody else knows how it works so you can do a quick search, find all your videos and things like that. And I try to tag them also. I try. It's harder to do that, but I try. The other thing I wanted to end with is we are not saying where you're going, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. You will continue to go to games. You'll continue to do things. We'll continue to have these conversations. But I would like to know, is there anything you can share with us? Or is there anything you want us to know about your travels? Is there anything you want us to know? Like if somebody sees you in your traveling, what's the best way to kind of be like, hey, because sometimes you're like literally recording and somebody might tap you. Like, how are you feeling as far as like interacting with people and your experience? Like, what are you thinking that we could do to help as we run into you or might encounter like what you have going on, or if we have opinions on what games we think you should go to?
Well, yeah. If anybody has opinions on which games they want me to go to, just comment on one of my videos. I read all my comments and I respond back to those. But this season is going to be very exciting. As I mentioned, I'll be going to different universities, different schools, showing different, traditions, and most importantly, just I want to make sure I'm being versatile. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to just strictly one team anymore.
Yeah.
Being that, I love FSU, so I'll be out there a few times, but I'm so excited to go to different places and just
Yeah.
to get the traditions of college football and to actually show how football is being like, how it's changing over the years, from there was a machine out on the field versus Alabama, and they were like cooling the players down. I don't know if anyone saw that, but like they were plugging up like technical devices and different
Yeah.
technology, and it's just like so. It's so interesting to see those things. So
Okay.
just advancing the game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. And then the other thing, are you on the side where do you see recruits often on the sidelines?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious because I wasn't sure. Some teams have them set in a certain place. Some teams have them like on the sidelines in a certain place. But a lot of times they kind of have them isolated. They don't like when people can kind of get to them. So I was
Right.
just curious if that's still a thing or if they've changed that.
Yeah, that's very important. They definitely keep, the media and
Yeah.
other people away from the recruits. Yeah.
Yeah. And for a lot of people who don't know, it's because they're minors. And so a lot of times they don't want like all the fanfare with, they're literally some of them are actually 15, 16, Like some of them are actually really young. And so, so they try to protect them. And I just wanted to make sure that was still a thing and that wasn't something that they've changed as everything else is changing in the world, it seems like. So, okay, good. I'm glad they're still protected. Well, is there anything else you want us to know from your experience going to the 3 different games? Now that I think about it, it was almost all you hit all the conferences. You hit ACC, you hit Big 12, ACC, and then you hit ACC, SEC, and then you go up. Like you almost you hit all of them. And you go up to Ohio State. Okay.
Big 4.
Did you learn anything about any of them besides obviously we know what Ohio State looks like. We can see them. Is there anything else that you want to share that you learned or that you're kind of thinking about as you're continuing to go on? Maybe there's something in your mind where you're like, man, okay, I saw that here, I saw that there. Now I kind of want to see what it's like at wherever you go next.
I would say there is a difference in conference play, as most people can, see, but I'll just say it. There's a difference. Fanfare, there's a difference. Hospitality, there's a difference. And how they pretty much run their programs it's a big difference. And this is the one. I'll just say this: some players who are from down south, they leave down south to get away from home, different things, and that's I'm all for it. If you have to leave your home and to be better, to be great, to get away from distractions or things that you may not want to be around. Just that's something I noticed. So
okay, and I. Good point, because I think people always are like, it's about the bag. And I'm like, sometimes it's actually not. Sometimes they don't want to be there anymore. They want to go out and see something better, different, more innovative, and more uplifting for them, whatever that looks like for them. And that's okay. So good point. Oh, and then I have to pick at you for a second here. When are you going to ask a question at somebody's press conference?
Yeah. This week I'll do it this week.
Because I kid you not. So, because obviously I watch all your content all the time. Usually I comment, but most times I know I'm going to talk to you, so I try not to comment. I just like it and keep it moving. But this one I was like, he's going to ask somebody a question, right? Okay, Jeremiah. Okay, no. Okay, but Florida State, that's his team. He's going to ask somebody. No. Okay. Colorado, he's more comfortable. Maybe no.
I'm just
what's my question? Question.
I'm so honestly, like, in those moments, sometimes I'm either like super tired, and that's not an excuse, but I'm very exhausted. But and other times I'm just like in awe, trying to be in the moment and like really soak it in, because like you're seeing it happen live, and then you're going to see it later on TV, and it's just like that was a great game. This person really made a great play and different things. And it's like coming up with a question. I have to go and prepare with those, but I'll be sure.
That's what you need me for. I want to be there, like ask them about. That's
right.
That's funny. And then one more thing I want to say before we end is, can you tell us how long you're actually there? Your video is usually probably about 30 minutes. Let's give or take, obviously, depending on what happens. However, you mentioned being tired. I think not enough gets talked about how long you're actually there, because you actually can't see any time in the video. Yeah. So what time do you usually get to a game? What time do you don't have to tell us, like, you know what I'm saying, about how long are you usually at the stadium? So
normally I'm at the stadium. Well, I go into the stadium 3 hours before kickoff, and that could mean I'm there maybe an hour to 30 minutes before the 3 hour mark.
Yeah.
And then from there, the game's maybe 3-4 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
And then an hour for press conference. So that's it's 3, 6, 3, 8, 9, 10.
It's like 9. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those people don't hurry along. Sometimes you're kind of there waiting. You're like, who's coming next? Okay. All right. Yeah. So I wanted to call that out, because we're seeing 30 minutes. of everything you have going on. And so it's hard. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of consistency. It's a lot of showing up. It's a lot of all those things that you'll probably never get told good job for, because it's just, yeah, but he gets to forget that. It's still hard. NFL players are making millions and millions of millions, and it is still hard. So like, let's not get away from the fact that something is hard just because it's extremely fun. So shout out to you for like putting in the work, the effort, the time, the consistency. I appreciate it. And I'm the weirdo that's like, hey, were you okay? Great. So excited. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll end this next video. I expect you to tell me about how your question asking went. You have a couple of weeks to get to the questions. and so I'll be waiting. But anything you want to say, we'll end on you.
Well, first off, I want to reiterate how grateful I am, to be able to have the ability to go to these places and, document and show my experiences. And it's, as you mentioned, it's not easy. It's very, at times it can be challenging, but it's worth it in the end for me, because I'm passionate about, what I do, and being able to, provide the best content to my viewers and to supporters. And it just means the world to me when someone just watches a video and likes a video. And, it just makes it all worth it. So I'm grateful.
Awesome. Well, good. I'm proud of you. And shout out to everybody that's still using your content and not tagging you. But I'll let it go. We'll save it for another day. I'll talk to you soon in a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Thank you.